Hi, my name is Henrik Flodell and I'm the Tools Marketing Manager at Atmel. We recently released version 6.2 of our Atmel Studio IDE, and one of the new features that we're introducing in that version is the ability to work with data breakpoints on all of our MCU-based architectures. I'm going to show you how to use the data breakpoint feature in this release of Studio and also talk to you a little bit about the kind of debugging issues that being able to work with data breakpoints will help you to track down in your applications. Now, I'm sure that most of you are familiar with code breakpoints. Basically, what a code breakpoint does is that it halts the execution of the code on the microcontroller when execution hits a specific instruction. A data breakpoint is a little bit different. It's basically set up to trigger if you read or write to either a memory location or a register. And I have an application that I'm going to run and demonstrate how to set data breakpoints, how to work with them, and give you some tips on the kind of debugging that using data breakpoints can help you with. So I'm going to start my debug session basically by just running the application until I hit the main function of the program. So here we are, I'm stopped at main, and now what I want to do is I'm going to set a data breakpoint at this variable here, pin. I do that by going to debug, new breakpoint, data breakpoint, and just set it up the same way that you would if you were working in C. I'm going to set a read-write data breakpoint, so if we either read or write the memory location that's occupied by this variable, execution will stop. So we go ahead and run, and bam, we're stopped at pin. So here in the data breakpoint window, we can see the properties of this breakpoint. If I double-click it, I get the data breakpoint dialog up. This dialog will look a little bit different depending on which microcontroller core you're working with, because the support for data breakpoints differs a little bit between the different cores. You can either, as I mentioned, set a data breakpoint up to trigger on a read or a write, or on both of a location. Some devices support setting address masks and also selecting ranges of addresses for data breakpoints. So you can use one breakpoint to cover a range of bytes in memory, or a range of information to terminate the execution. Some architectures also allow you to set a data match value, which will basically cause the breakpoint to only halt in case the data that you're either reading or writing matches the value that you put in as the match criteria. Another nifty feature about data breakpoints is the hit counter. So with the hit counter, you can basically instruct the IDE or the debugger to only break execution once the data breakpoint has been hit a certain number of times. So let's go ahead and set up another breakpoint here on the myCounter variable. Here we go. I'm going to disable this first one, and then I'm going to set the hit counter to break when the hit count is equal to 10. So by doing this, we should be able to execute through the first for loop and not stop until we hit 10 reads or writes, or 10 writes in this case, to the myCounter variable in the second for loop. So we're executing, and there we go. The hit count is now equal to 10, and we're stopping at the second for loop. So data breakpoints are quite nifty when you're debugging memory corruption issues. You can set up a data breakpoint on the memory location that gets corrupted, and thereby be able to quickly pinpoint the part of the application that is causing the corruption to happen. In a case like, for instance, stack corruption, a nifty trick is to set a data breakpoint at the end of the stack and then just executing the application. When the data breakpoint get hit, which is basically right before you overflow your stack, you'll be able to see which part of the program that caused the stack to overflow. All of this is available in Atmel Studio 6.2, which is freely downloadable from the Atmel website. Thank you very much for watching.